Hi, darling hearts. Happy New Ears and all that, you know, for listening more carefully. And we've got 2 ears for listening and 1 mouth for speaking. Remember that one. It's really good to do lots of listening. Nuts. I just did a little post about peanuts and it's all set off a big debate and it's all interesting. But I was thinking, I had a few more thoughts about it because nuts is the name that we give to a man's body part, and therefore is nut milk the stuff that they produce? I'm just wondering, because nut milks, in my view, are far from, you know, actual, you know, men's seed, which is precious and we love it. But nut milks that you buy on the supermarket shelf, right, are toxic rubbish. And everyone's fallen for it. I did too. I gave my kids soy milk for 5 years when they were really little, and it's an endocrine disruptor, and it's the one regret of my entire life. So I want to stop you all making the same mistakes, right? Because nut milks have mashed up the nut. The nut is not properly prepared. It's not soaked. It's not activated. And then it just makes toxins, the plant toxins, more bioavailable. Right, so nut milks, especially almond milk, is jam-packed full of oxalates, which is probably going to end up giving people kidney stones if they carry on like that, frankly. So we say, we've got some phrases around nuts, haven't we? We say, he's a nutcase, he's a complete nutter. I know that's to do with your head being called a nut, you know, but it says something to me. Like, do you remember that advert in the 1970s? It was like, everyone's a fruit and nutcase, crazy for those Cadbury's nuts and raisins. Crazy people eating nuts and raisins in chocolate. It's very addictive. I used to be totally hooked on it, totally. Did you ever see that Mike Leigh film? It was called Nuts in May, and Alison Steadman played this really awesome little character. She was quite a mousy character, and she wanted to go and collect the nuts in May, you know, but obviously there's no nuts in May. Nuts don't come in May, nuts come in autumn time, and that's when you should go and pick them. So nuts in May, that's implying complete madness, not being in tune with the moon and the cycles of life, do you know what I mean? Have you ever collected nuts? I have, because when I go on walks around here in France, there are châtaignes, which are chestnuts. So there's chestnuts, so I can collect chestnuts and I can roast them and I can, you know, I can properly prepare them. This is the thing with nuts. They're full of phytates, they're full of oxalates, they're full of lots of nasty plant toxins. So we have to prepare them properly. You want to let them dry. You want to soak them. You want to sprout them maybe. You want to discard the water from the soaking, maybe soak them for 2-3 days even. And then you want to roast them. Then you want to peel them, you know, I mean, it's a whole process, right? So I got some hazelnuts last season. It was a mast year and there was loads of really big, juicy, like cob nut sized, really nice. But I mean, even then it took me a little while to collect a bowl full. So I got my bowl full because the squirrels had them, you know. I got my bowl full and I dried them out so they didn't go mouldy. Then I soaked them. Then I roasted them and shucked them and shelled them after they were roasted, and then I ground them into a nut butter, and it was so divinely delicious, I cannot even describe. And I'm presuming that that is what Nutella used to be trying to be like, roasted hazelnut butter. Oh my God, I've still got some because just the merest tip of the teaspoon of it transforms a dish, you know. You can have your Gaps cake with your cream and date paste and fat bomb frosting and then just a little bit of that on top. Oh my God. I suppose if you mix a little bit of cacao nibs with it, you'd have like a chocolate nut butter. Like Nutella, you could add extra coconut oil or whatever, you know, to make it really lovely and fatty, because when you get those fats down you, your body just says, I've had enough, I don't need any more, you know. But that Nutella stuff is just ubiquitous, isn't it? It's bloody well everywhere. I went to a Christmas market here, and they were selling crepes and gaufres and all of those wheat-based sweetie things, just dripping with melted Nutella-y, chocolatey stuff. And it was like, I mean, the smell of it was too divine, but I can't even possibly imagine even tasting one of those things. It would probably make me retch. But they did have oysters, so that was good. So I had oysters and a vin chaud instead. So, yeah, collecting on nuts ourselves and seeing the work that goes into actually getting a small jar of nut butter should alert you to the fact that, you know, we shouldn't be just glugging litres of nut milks, right? It's done by an industrial process. It's totally unnatural and extraordinarily damaging. I know because I gave my kids soy milk when they were little, and I know it has messed with their hormones. So please don't fall into the same trap that I did, thinking that I was lactose intolerant because I got a snotty nose when we ate dairy. But you know, the dairy that's pasteurised is completely indigestible. So forget it. Forget trying to digest unfermented dairy, pasteurised dairy, and then go and find your raw milk producer and support them and love them and give them £3 for a litre. That's what I pay at my local farm in Sussex, probably one of the most expensive places in England. I don't know how I ended up there. It was a complete accident, right? I didn't aim for that at all. It just happened by a whole string of happy accidents. I got drawn there by invisible strings. That's a whole nother story. But yeah, raw milk is the answer. And for people with eczema and asthma, where they always say, go gluten-free, dairy-free, right? Dr. Natasha, who wrote GAPS, Gut and Psychology Syndrome, is my guru, and GAPS is what I teach and preach. It's my kind of baseline Bible kind of for helping people with their gut health and helping them recover from chronic nonsense, right? Dr. Natasha says that people with asthma and eczema need raw dairy to actually recover. Gobsmacking, eh? Anyway, lots of love. Hi, Kat. Hi, Jane. Thanks for joining me for this little rant. Have a beautiful day. And yeah, lots of love. See me at timelesscookery.com. Bye.